Welcome to our Fossil in Focus. This week we're taking a look at Camarasaurus grandis, which is one of our macronarian sauropods. So they had external nares, the openings for the nose, that were larger than the orbits, so the sockets for the eyes. So this dinosaur specifically comes from the Morrison Formation in Colorado and was alive during the Jurassic, about 145 million years ago. Now this tooth is pretty interesting. So it had a whole series of these. This is actually a tooth from the upper jaw. And when we start to look at it, some of the clues that this fossil tells us is when we look really closely, it has some wear on this lower edge. And so that wear came from rubbing against the teeth on the lower jaw. Now the teeth themselves, if you're kind of looking at it, are sauropods. We know we're eating vegetation. And what's a little bit surprising is when we look at this tooth, we can see that it is a little bit pointed. It's sort of spoon-shaped, so it's scooped. And you might look at it and at the beginning think, oh, that looks like a tooth that might be like a biting tooth as opposed to a chewing tooth. And so in fact, this tooth is more like the teeth towards the front of your mouth. So they would take big bites of vegetation and they would sort of strip and shred the plant matter to get it into their mouths. They would then use their tongues to swallow that material down, those long necks, into their large, extensive gut cavities where digestion via fermentation would take place through this kind of large, extensive gut system. So what's really cool about the name, so Camarasaurus grandis, the name Camarasaurus comes from, it means chamber lizard, which I think is kind of interesting because it tells us a little bit about how they were digesting their food in this large, cavernous chamber of a gut system. So that's my quick fossil in focus today. Again, Camarasaurus grandis, one really cool dinosaur fossil. With that, I look forward to chatting with you next time about fossils, and until then, I wish you an experience full of happy learning.